Manga-Waido.
I'm Kazuyuki Yamamoto. I work for a real estate company. I met my girlfriend Yoshika when I was 25. We've been dating for about 5 years now. Her family was pretty rich. She didn't even have to get a part-time job in college. She worked at her dad's company as a receptionist. I was almost 30. I've been thinking about marrying her for quite some time now. We were good together. I really liked spending time with her. Maybe it's about time. So I decided to propose to her. I booked us a table at this really fancy restaurant. After months of preparations, I was ready. So after dinner, I gathered my courage and kneeled down. Yoshika, will you marry me? I didn't make much, but I saved to buy her the biggest diamond ring I could find. This thing was pretty expensive. It was about 3 months worth of my pay. I thought she might start crying from joy, but then something unexpected happened.
Look, Kazuyuki, I've been meaning to say this, but I think we should break up.
What? Why?
I've been thinking about it for a while now. I don't think we're meant for each other.
What? Why now? I don't follow.
I mean, you're cute and you're nice, but marrying you? I don't know.
What do you mean?
Look, I don't know how to say this, so I'm just gonna come out and say it. We live in different worlds. Like this fancy restaurant. This is the first time you've ever taken me to a place like this. But I need a man who has more money than that.
I was stunned. I didn't know what to say.
Oh well, I'm done here. Goodbye. Thanks for dinner.
She stood up and started walking away. I tried to stop her, but then she turned around and said,
I'm sorry to say this, but you're too poor for me. You probably want to marry me because my parents are rich, right? I know it. I can see it in your eyes. And I already like someone else, so stay out of my way.
Then she left. I just stood there in silence for a while. Everyone was staring at me. I couldn't take it anymore. I paid the tab and left. Why? I knew her family was rich, but I had no idea she was like this. It took me quite a while to recover from this. It wasn't easy, but about a month later, I was finally able to move on. Now that I think about it, Yoshika was always buying designer clothes and designer bags. She was a big spender. Maybe she wasn't the right girl for me after all. I can't afford to buy her all that stuff. Maybe this was for the best. It still hurt, but I was finally able to move on. But then, about a year later, I got a call from my mom. She said my dad had been hospitalized. He made it out alive, but he couldn't work anymore. This changed everything for me. My parents had their own business. They inherited it from my grandparents. The company was pretty big. It even had a few subsidiaries. In terms of wealth, my parents had much more of it than Yoshika's parents. But my grandfather always said, be humble, don't waste money. So even though my parents were pretty wealthy, they didn't spoil me. I didn't make much, but I was doing just fine. I was their only child, so I knew I was taking over their business someday, but I didn't think it would be so soon. But my dad needed me to step up, so I quit my job and became the vice president of my dad's company. Your father would be proud of you. Thank you, sir. I still got a lot to learn, but I'll do everything I can. My dad talked to all the board members for me beforehand, so everyone welcomed me with open arms. Since I used to work at a real estate company, they put me in charge of their real estate department. Then, about 2 years later, we acquired this big resort hotel. They were eager to sell the business, so the negotiations went pretty smoothly. I was always busy, but work was a lot of fun. One day, I was having dinner at this hotel. Then, on my way home, someone called my name. It was this chubby lady. Do I know you?
What? Don't tell me you forgot.
I still had no idea who she was, so I asked her again.
It's me, Yoshika.
Huh? Yoshika? Oh, right. Hi.
I heard from my husband's friend. You just bought the Manma Hotel, right?
Oh, you got married. Congratulations. I tried to get in my car, but...
Hold on. My husband, he's pretty rich, but he's kinda ugly. But you still got the looks, and you're rich now. If you want, I'll marry you.
Huh? What are you talking about?
You asked me to marry you once, remember? But not yet. I gotta divorce my husband first. Otherwise, he'll sue me for damages. But even if that happens, I'm sure you can pay for me.
She just kept talking non-stop. I didn't know what to tell her. I was already running late to my next appointment, so I said to her, "Look, maybe I should talk to your father about this first." Not sure why, but she said, okay. So I checked my schedule. I was free the next day, so I asked my secretary to set it up. The next day, I went to her father's company. Yoshika and her father walked out of the building. Yoshika was smiling, but her father looked pretty nervous. Can't say that I blame him. Our subsidiary was one of his biggest accounts. But that was just a coincidence. I actually had no idea about it until very recently.
Sir, what brings you here today?
Well, yesterday, your daughter came up to me and said this. Then I took out my voice recorder and played the recording. I always carried a voice recorder with me. Yesterday, when she came up to me, I recorded the entire conversation. So her father heard everything she said to me.
Yoshika, what have you done?
Her dad's face turned blue. I've heard good things about his company before, but these days, I wasn't so sure. Maybe this was some kind of sign. I told him we were done doing business with his company. Then I left. I never saw Yoshika after that. Then about a year later, a friend of mine told me about her. Her dad's company went out of business, and they kicked her out of the family. I also heard that she's still bragging about the fact that I proposed to her years ago, but nobody believed her. I thought that was pretty funny. Oh well, she's not my problem anymore. And even though she was broke, she couldn't stop spending money. I guess old habits die hard. When I get married and have kids of my own, I'm gonna teach them to be humble, so they don't end up like her.